Today, I'm going to show you how to clear away the clutter, and not just temporarily, but permanently, so that you can experience a change of mind so radical that your whole life changes in the best way possible for you and for those that you love around you. Do you ever find that you feel overwhelmed by the endless stream of thoughts in your mind? Perhaps it's all of the worries that are just stuck in there, along with what ifs about what might happen to our future or even our families. Perhaps you have loads of concern about what to do or where to go or who you are or why you're here. And perhaps you're even like me, where you've had situations in the past where you said things, that you did things. And so you're still overly consumed about why you said it that way and you wish you did it different. And so you've got guilt compounding on there along with shame and just upset and uncertainty. And it's just the whole slew of thoughts that just spin around in our mind all day long. Do you experience this too? This is called mental clutter. We have mental clutter in our mind that prevents us from the calm, still, precise mind of reason that exists in the deepest part of every single one of us. But to be honest, mind clutter has been quite an epidemic. We realize when we look out into our world, all of the war and the division and the chaos and the craziness that is happening. And that's just not happening for no reason. So if we want to change the world and want the world to be different and we want our lives to be different and we want our emotions to be different and better, then we must change our minds. That means we must learn how to clear out the mental clutter and quite literally change our minds about ourselves. I promise you, there is a way to clear out the mental clutter that will bring you the peace and the joy and the purpose that you seek. If you don't take these steps to clear out the mental clutter, your life is not going to change. The craziness that you feel in your mind sometimes is just going to get worse. If we don't correct our thinking, it ends up affecting our life because causes are the thought and the effect is in our experience and in our life. And so if you don't take the initiative to learn the tools that I'm going to teach you today, there's going to be no progress and no change. Or if there is, it's going to be minimal. And you're still going to be at this point where you feel like something's missing. You still feel like something's lacking. You're still sabotaging. You're still having up and down yo-yo days. And I don't want you to experience that anymore. I want you to experience the joy and the peace and the purpose that God wills for you, that our Creator, that is love and only love, has instilled inside your heart and soul and mind. And so today, I'm going to show you how to clear away the clutter, and not just temporarily, but permanently, so that you can experience a change of mind so radical that your whole life changes in the best way possible for you and for those that you love around you. So stick with me to the end. I have some practical tools to share with you, but I also would love to share with you a story from a dear client of mine named Leslie, who has been through the mental clutter like you are in right now and has popped out the other side. Let's dive in. I'm going to introduce you to Leslie. Okay, she is a dear client of mine. I would now say dear friend. And when she first came to me, she was filled with mental clutter. So the mental clutter in her mind, she would express as overwhelm, as concerned, as what ifs about the future. She was terrified about what might happen to her children. She was scatterbrained when she would go to work. She wasn't able to finish projects that she was working on. She would find that she would come home so stressed after a day of work and she would have barely any ounce of energy left to pay attention to her family in the way that she knew that she would want. And she just like threw like dinners together and she just threw things together so quickly, but she just really wished that she could be more present, that she could be more patient, that she could be more available to her children, more available to herself, care for herself better, feel better, look better, sound better. She just wanted to improve on every level of her being. And I'm sure that everyone could relate to that. But then when I was talking to her and I was doing the introspection as I do as a spiritual therapist, I realized that her problems weren't the overwhelm. Her problems weren't the concern and the what ifs and the fear. Her concerns were a little bit deeper than that. So, what we explored together and what we saw is that her actual clutter in her mind are the many goals that she had. She had goals for her physical body, she had goals for her work, she had goals for her family, she had goals for her life. And she had so many goals. And this isn't saying goals are bad, but I'm going to offer you a reinterpretation of what our goals truly are. So, just stick with me for a second. She also had many selves. That sometimes she would feel positive, sometimes she would feel negative, sometimes she would show one face to one person, sometimes she would show one face to another. So she would have all these different ideas of who she thought they were. In A Course in Miracles, these are called self-concepts. We have a concept of ourself that we hold. Sometimes our concepts are good, sometimes our concepts are bad. It honestly depends on the day sometimes. We also have all this seeking in our mind. We're seeking to be better, we're seeking to improve, seeking, but it's always an external seeking. Along with the seeking is a getting. We want to get more likes. We want to get more money. We want to get more friends. We want to get this. We want to get that. Getting gets in our way and it clouds up our minds. And if we're not seeking to get something, we're seeking to avoid something. We're seeking to avoid what causes us pain. We're seeking to avoid what irritates us. We're seeking to avoid the uncomfortable, embarrassing feelings, perhaps, that can come out of some conversations that we may need to have. We're avoiding things, but we also assign roles in our relationships. We set goals in our relationships. We project on our relationships. We have expectations of ourselves and of our relationships. These are all the things that are cluttering up our mind. We have goals and we have selves and we have seeking and we have getting and we have avoiding and we have relational issues and we assign roles and expectations and we see problems, and this whole mind is cluttered. Do you see that? It is filled with thoughts. And this is the deep belief thoughts, not even the superficial thoughts on top. So when you have your superficial thoughts and your deep thoughts and oh my gosh, the clutter. Oh my God, of course you want to clear that out. That's a lot going on. But there is an answer to this. And there's something good about this. Can I tell you what it is? So the goodness about this cluttered mind is that really this is our only problem. We have one problem: to clear out this clutter. And the way we clear out this clutter is not necessarily going through each one of these step by step, although if you need to go through each one step by step, your life is going to trigger them and it will bring it up so that you can apply the tools I'm going to give you today to what is coming up. But really, we have one problem. The problem is the ego. All of this extends from the ego. It's a fast-paced thinking mind that speaks loud and first. Everything that is here is fear, based on fear, and everything that is here is learned. It is learned. So let's keep in mind, which I've done diagrams like this for you before, but keep in mind that when we are first born into this world, we are babies and we have blank slates of mind. Our mind is clean. Our mind is blank. Our mind is open to be written upon. And what happens is our world tells us that all of these things are the things we need to be thinking about, worrying about, focusing on, reaching toward, controlling. And when we're controlling all this junk, we are busy and consumed by the junk. So do you want to know how it is that we can shift out of this one problem, which is fear, and how we can undo and unlearn everything that we've learned here so we're not cluttered anymore? Me too, my friends. So look, I'll show you. So the way you clear the mental clutter is by realizing that there is another way. There's another way to think. There's another way to see. There's another way to be. There's a new identity for you to accept. But this identity is not made by you. This is not a life you create for yourself. This comes from our creator who created us and who has a plan for us. So what we're going to do here is we're going to learn how it is that we can ascend to the thoughts that we share with God instead of our learned behavioral habitual thoughts that we've accepted from the world. So here is another side profile phase. This is the new mind diagram, okay? This is going to represent the mind that we share with each other and with God. This is the new mind, the new choice. This is the mind of love instead of the love of fear. This is the mind of love and not the mind of fear. So this mind of love is not something that we create or make, as I've already said. This mind of love is given us by God. This mind of love is actually blank. Okay, just like when we are a baby in this world, the beginner's mind, as Buddhism calls it, it is blank. It's not blank as in like empty and like there's nothing in there. It's blank as in it's still. It is a blank canvas. It's something that you can write upon. So what we're trying to do is come back to this choice point where we can choose the mind of love. So I'll show you how to get there, but just follow me for a minute. So this is the mind of love. And really, the mind is blank because it has not yet had the world be projected on it, or the projections of the world have been undone and we've returned to the natural state, which is blank. And that doesn't mean empty, as in nothing's in it. It means it's a clear canvas. It's a clear canvas. So instead of the world writing its meaning upon our mind, we reach to a higher source and we allow the meaning that comes from God to be given us instead. And when we start to do that, we will realize that this mind is our true mind. This is our true mind that we share with each other and God. In A Course in Miracles and in the Bible, Jesus talks about us becoming one mind. Be of one mind, he tells us. And when he says to be of one mind, this is what he's talking about. This is what he's talking about. So when we decide for our mind of love, our one mind that is actually blank, contained within this blank space is precision. This mind is precise. Okay. This mind is clear. This mind is open. This mind does not contradict. All of these thoughts are congruent. All of them make sense. All of them are filled with love. All of them are inclusive. Okay, so this mind is a whole and complete mind. So this isn't cluttering up the mind. This is in the space of the clarity of mind and just how it operates naturally when we clear the clutter out of the way. So this mind is the goal. This mind is the one solution to the one problem of fear. So once we realize that this mind exists, we realize that we don't create this ourselves. We don't make this happen. We are not the ones who change our minds from fear to love. We are the ones who have made the mind of fear, and we are the ones who need help. Okay, this mind of love first originated in the mind of God. And God has freely given this mind of love to you, to me, and to all beings. Love is our true reality. It's not learned, it is given us by God. And so the way that we come into accord with this love is to realize that this mind of fear is not what I am, and it's not real, and there is another way. These are not my true thoughts. These are the thoughts that I learned from the world. They are not mine. These are my real thoughts. These are given me by God. They are in my mind. I can reach deep, deep, deep down inside of myself and I can get in contact with them. And so by the very fact that you know that this mind is not real, it's learned, this mind is real, it's given you by God, we become more and more and more increasingly willing to let go of the thoughts of fear in favor of the thoughts of love. But there's one thing that I'm going to say that you need to do in order to let your mind be healed. Actually, it's two things. One is you need to realize that operating in this way isn't working anymore, that operating in this way is actually causing the pain and the suffering that you have. And so you want to be wrong in what you think. You want to render all of this useless, because when you render it useless, there's nothing that could not be healed at once. The only thing that keeps this in your mind is your belief in it, is your desire for it to be there. And I get it. These thoughts are the only thing that we have known. When Leslie came to me, it was her identity. It's how she saw herself. It's what she thought was real. She thought these were her thoughts. But then she started to realize that maybe, wait a minute, maybe these are my ego thoughts. Maybe these aren't my thoughts. Maybe I don't have to take these thoughts so seriously. Maybe I can create some distance between me and these thoughts and observe these thoughts and begin the process of letting them be undone. And you know what that's called? It's called mind training. The number one thing that human beings need is mind training, mind management. We need to manage our mind. And so, my friends, what I'm going to encourage for you is to start with the first tool that I gave to Leslie. And it was this. It was to ask a question. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? And when we observe what we are thinking, we start to see all of these thoughts. And then that allows us to really recognize that, oh my God, I'm thinking with the thoughts of fear. I don't want to do that anymore. There must be a better way. And when we open to the realization that there's a better way, that's when we can start to get in touch with these. So there's one thing that you need to do, which is mind training, obviously, but there's one thing that you need to do to help you with your mind training every day. Yes, ask the question, what are my thoughts? Because you need to start to see if it's coming from fear or love and start choosing. But what really is a game changer is what I offered to Leslie. And what I offered to Leslie was for her to become acquainted with the teachings of the Course in Miracles, for her to realize that she needs help, that she can't undo this fear mind by herself. Okay. She can't control this anymore. She has to let go of control in order to accept the love that she is. And so, A Course in Miracles is a tool for mind training. It helps us to understand the difference between fear and love so that we can choose. It helps us to choose. And the power of decision to choose if fear or love is what is going to be in my mind is up to us. And so we need to be empowered to know how to do that. So I recommend you look into A Course in Miracles. Practice the workbook lessons of the course. The workbook lessons are one lesson per day for 365 days, but you can take it at a slow pace that works for you. Because really, the point is to allow the lessons to change our mind. It is to allow them to slowly overturn them. And you will realize the first 20 lessons of A Course in Miracles are to bring us to that beginner mind, to bring us to that blank slate, so that we are open, ready, and available to receive the love of God. So, my friends, there's no way around this. We have to train our mind. We have to change our mind to think with God. There's no quick fix, snap of the fingers that's going to happen, but there is a protocol that you could do every single day to help you to change your mind. That protocol is to start your day by giving it to God. You need to have a solid morning routine. I will put links below to help you with that if you are so inspired. You need to commit to welcoming thoughts of love to replace fear. And that's why I choose A Course in Miracles as my mind training course, because it is a way for you to choose love in every situation instead of fear. The third one is to really take times to pause in your day. Pause to ask what you're thinking, to pause to observe your thoughts, pause to ask for guidance, because really, this mind of love is in the mind of God. We want to be able to think with the thoughts of love and not fear. And so it's time to commit to cleaning up the mind clutter through mind training. And because this mind is given us by God, it is in God's mind. And therefore, it is for all of us because we are all in God's mind and we could never be separate. We could never leave it. We could never not be one with the love that we are and that created us. So, my friends, the answer is mind training. Every single day, we need to commit ourselves to training our mind as if it's the most important thing in the universe. We have to look at mind training as if it is our most important job. Because if we want to be a good parent, if we want to be good at our job, if we want to be good in life and have all of the things, you have to train your mind so that you think with love and not fear. So, our number one most important job is mind training. So, when I introduced this idea to Leslie, she jumped on it right away. And for the first while, it took her a little bit to get the handle of pausing, of asking, of listening, of her morning routine, of her evening routine, of applying the lessons of A Course in Miracles. But the more she practiced these tools, the easier and easier and easier it got, just like with any skill that we're going to learn on this planet. And she really realized that when she has the thoughts of fear, sometimes it's easy as saying, no, thank you. I dropped that thought. And it's literally as if she's holding like a ball of paper or a pen like this, where she just opened up her hand, boom, it drops out. Okay. So this is what we're starting to see, that we're the ones who cling to our mind. And if we want to let go of the fear mind, we have to let go of the thoughts that we're thinking and realize that when we let go of the thoughts we're thinking, let go of the goals we've set, let go of the expectations we have, the judgments we have, all of the junk that we're maintaining up here, we just let it go. Then what happens is the love mind can replace it. The love mind can rise instead. The love mind can show us how to see things differently, how to see ourselves, how to see the world, how to engage in the world. So you, my friends, need to get in touch with your inner teacher of love and know that this is your number one most important job. Do you feel me? Do you feel me? If you feel me, right? Yes, below. Let me know what you are doing for mind training so far and allow us to just inspire those who are here in a circle and space with us to keep on this path of clearing out the clutter. Our creator, our loving God wills you happiness, and that happiness is inside your mind of love. So the only things that we have to do is train our minds to think with love. And every day you're going to get a little bit better in every way. And I promise you, I will stay here by your side. I will hold your hand. I will help answer your questions. I will help you to trust yourself and find the courage to ask for help because really you have this internal teacher of love in your mind who wants to help you to see truly. So just allow yourself to take pause as much as possible, to listen into the space, to ask for guidance, to show you the way, and you will continue to develop this relationship with your inner teacher in a way that will bring you great, great peace. When Leslie practiced this, she got better and better and better every single day. And it got to the point where she would wake up in the morning without the mental clutter. She would go through her day feeling calm, being able to respond to her kids in the ways that she wants to, being able to complete tasks at work in the way that she wants to. All of the added overwhelm and stewing over ideas and caring what people think dissipated. She found so much confidence inside of herself that she started winning awards at work. She actually started taking days off each week to spend more time with her family. She just started attracting more abundance. Like, genuinely, guys, her whole life changed. Her whole life changed for the better. And not because she was making it happen, but because she surrendered into the mind of love through mind training, which allowed her to really tap into the one mind that she is and that we share and experience the life, that love that God promises her. So, just like God has a plan for Leslie, just like God has a plan for me. So, are you ready to clear out this mind clutter? Good. Then we're doing this together. I will be sure I have links below to help support you. Check out that comment section. I have a pinned comment for you there. And be sure to like and subscribe because next week I'm going to have a video that is all about surrender, helping you to surrender your own thoughts of fear so that you really can experience the love that you are and that we are and that is here to change the world. I love you, beautiful souls. I'll see you in the next video.